This time, my daughter built the locomotive all by herself. The set was labeled for ages 14 and up, so it was indeed a challenge for her. More than once, she broke a piece in the process, but along the way, she gained much patience, the habit of learning from mistakes, better control of fine motor skills, the ability to read diagrams, and even a touch of geometric understanding. For her reading journal, we agreed on Murder on the Orient Express. Agatha Christie was my favorite detective novelist when I was young. Personally, my most beloved works are The Murder of Roy Ackroyd and Then There Were None. Yet in terms of recognition, because of numerous film and television adaptations, Death on the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express are usually the first of her novels that people encounter. Whether it was Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes or Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot, both were figures of endless fascination in my childhood. The moment the truth is unveiled, when sudden clarity flashes across the mind, always strikes like a spark of brilliance, bringing an overwhelming sense of awe and delight. For a child, searching for truth in tiny details and piecing together clues through logic is in itself a source of immense joy. Poirot's charm lies not only in his reasoning, but also in his unique personality and style. He often strokes his neat little mustache and proudly reminds everyone that he is Belgian. These small quirks, rather than being off-putting, make him even more endearing to children. And yet, every murder case paid for with human life carries its own gravity. Beyond the gore and the violence, detective fiction often bears deeper exploration of ethics and law, which can serve as a kind of moral awakening for young readers. It is said that Murder on the Orient Express was partly inspired by the death of Julius Caesar. In 44 BC, Caesar was assassinated in the theater of Pompey by several senators, including Brutus. In Christie's novel, within the confines of a train car, everyone except Poirot drives a blade into the infamous Mr. Ratchet. Which step was truly fatal is ultimately unknowable. In my impression, in most of Poirot's cases, regardless of motive, he would hand the culprit over to the police and let justice take its course. But Murder on the Orient Express is an exception. This reminds me of China's wuxia tradition. From a young age, we grew up with tales of wandering knights errant who existed beyond the official justice system, guided by their own moral compass. They championed the weak and punished the wicked. From the perspective of modern rule of law, such as actions are problematic. On the one hand, they reflect the inadequacy of institutions, pushing people to seek alternative justice. On the other, they warn us of the perils of vigilantism. For us, as the saying goes, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. When viewed alongside the Western tradition of the 12-person jury, Murder on the Orient Express gains an added layer of symbolism. The 12 passengers killing Richard together resembles a kind of jury verdict. Only here, their judgment is carried out with knives instead of words. At the end, Poirot, though he has uncovered the truth, chose to withdraw, allowing them to cloak their deed with the explanation of a stranger breaking in. This ending resembles both a ruling of the martial word from wuxia tales and a symbolic reflection of Western legal tradition. Thus, the novel transcends being merely a murder mystery. and becomes a parable about justice, law, and the human heart.
My understanding of the story's plot. One night, the train was stopped by heavy snow. The next morning, a man was found dead in his compartment. His name was Wretched, but he used to be called Cassidy, and he was a bad man. He once kidnapped a little girl, which led to her death and the ruin of her whole family. Detective Poirot happened to be on the train, so he began investigating. He questioned each person and noticed many details: footprints in the snow, the initials on a handkerchief, contradictions in testimonies. Finally, Poirot discovered that all 12 of the passengers were connected to the kidnapping case. They decided to punish Wretched themselves, so each stepped in once. I was really shocked when I read this. I had always thought Poirot would point to one single murderer. The end. This time it was 12 people together. That was completely different from other detective stories I had read.